Hey guys, so the first thing we're going to want to do is check these screws that are on the bottom of the phone. Make sure that they're in there and they're secured. Next, let's go over the frame of the phone. Make sure there's not any big scratches, dents, damage that could be caused from a drop. Next, let's take a look at the screen. This is only a screen protector, so I always recommend taking the screen protector off so then we have a clear look at the glass on the phone. After looking at the glass, you want to go over the gasket part that's on that glass. So go around and you can notice that little rubber gasket that's in between the glass and the frame. Look at that gasket and make sure there's no large cracks or chips or pry marks that could be from somebody changing the screen. Next, we want to check the back. Make sure there's no cracks or big dents that are in the back area. Look at the back camera, make sure that's not cracked. A very important detail that's often overlooked is checking the earpiece. This is the most common area to experience water damage. It would also cause damage to the vibration tool. Check to make sure that's working. Check the volume up and the volume down. Volume down seems to be intermediately working. Volume up is not working. So I would say that was from the cause of water damage. That part's not very hard to repair, but you do want to make note that if it did experience water damage, there could be a lot of other underlying issues. Let's check the sound. Sound all the way up. Make sure that the speakers on the bottom are working. Now for this next part, we're going to test the camera. Make sure that the camera is working in the front and the back sides. For the next part, we're going to do a test on the CPU. What we're going to do is we're going to run the camera for about 2 minutes. This will put a lot of stress on the CPU and we'll be able to tell if there's any problems. So let's come back for about 2 minutes later. So in about 2 minutes, we notice the phone doesn't seem hot and it hasn't powered off. I would compare this to kind of like how when you buy a secondhand car and you take it for a ride and you check to see if it overheats. It's like the similar thing. You just basically put in a lot of strain on the CPU and that's usually when it would power off or it would show any problems on the phone. Next, let's go into voice memos and test out the microphone. For me, I like to whistle, make any loud sounds, and you'll be able to see, how good the microphone is or if it experienced any water damage. If you have a SIM card in, try making a phone call. You'll be able to see the antenna range, and also you can test the ear speaker. Next, let's go into general about and just look at some of the basics of the phone. You can check the capacity, and most importantly, we're going to be checking the IMEI. So we're going to take this IMEI number and we're going to go to iPhone OS, type in the IMEI number, and it tells you some basic information about when the phone was made, and also you can go into another feature that shows if the phone's blacklisted. And that's very important because, this phone is a little bit old, but, there's a lot of scams. Now, this next part, what we're doing is we're checking the Face ID. Now, for a lot of people, especially secondhand phones for the iPhone X, the Face ID will not work. And the reason it doesn't work is because it experienced water damage. Now, usually the error always shows move iPhone a little higher. And it always shows this error. It's just no longer working. And if the seller tells you, oh, it's an easy fix, you can do it, they're lying. It's extremely hard to fix it. So if you can live without it, I understand, but it's most likely from water damage. Now let's check the battery. Now for the battery, it's almost like a double-edged sword because you want a good battery. See, it's showing 100% here. But for a phone that's 3-4 years old, 100%, that means that they changed the battery. So just to keep that in mind, it's going to be a changed battery, so that means that they opened the phone up and they could have made other repairs to the phone. Next, let's check that bottom port. Make sure there's not a lot of crud or lint or other dirty things in there that are going to get in the way for charging. Put the charger cable in and make sure that you're getting a proper charge. You know, sometimes it could be from a bad cable, but it's very important to check that bottom port. As you can see, battery percentage is showing. Going to brightness up and down, sound up and down, flashlight, camera. Now for the next test, it's not necessary, but if you had a wireless charger, you know, try to make sure that it works. Usually for a lot of people, when they do battery repair or replacement, they'll end up damaging that back part and it won't allow you to do the wireless charging. Now, hopefully this video helped you out. If so, please give me a like. We'll see you guys.